So it can be quite a struggle to get back into the swing of things when we've been ill or out of a regular routine for a while. I, for one, can so relate to this because I had a bad dose of bronchitis quite recently. I was out of routine for a while and found it quite a struggle to get back. So I thought, based on that experience, it would be a good idea to share some tips and tricks onto how to get back into health and fitness. And here to help me today is none other than fitness instructor Andrew Daly, back due to popular demand. Hi Andy.
How are you, Beverly?
Good, and yourself?
I'm good.
Fantastic. Should we get started?
We shall.
So Andy, what are the main things we need to keep in mind when we're getting back?
Okay, so first of all, exercise generally we know is beneficial, but it can be beneficial when you're recovering from a sickness. So in that context, it's important to know, are you well enough to go back training? So the first and best way of knowing that is ask your doctor, get clearance. The second way is your energy levels in general. So when you're sick, oftentimes, as you were a little while ago, I believe, Beverly?
Yeah, that's right.
You feel a little bit run down.
Run down.
So you might be coughing, you might have a runny nose,
yeah.
But the energy levels are quite important to that. So usually getting better, first of all, your energy levels get better, but you might still have a runny nose or a cough.
Okay.
When your energy levels are better, you can usually start undertaking some light form of exercise. So that's usually what we're looking at now.
Light form of exercise.
Light form of exercise.
Okay.
So what we're really talking about is something that raises your body temperature, that gets you a little bit out of breath, but not to the degree that you feel very taxed. When you exercise, if you go too hard, your immune system is going to be suppressed and you're going to risk a little bit of a relapse.
Right.
So what I would say is, exercise to the point where your temperature is raised, to the point where you're a little bit out of breath, but to where you can still hold a conversation. And if you want to be a little bit more accurate and scientific about it, you want to get your heart rate up to about 50 to 70% of max. So usually that feels generally like what I was describing. Generally that will improve your immunity rather than suppressing it. Now, in light of that, I'm going to show us some exercises that we can do when we're coming down off sickness and trying to get better.
Fantastic. Ready, guys?
Okay, so what we're going to do next is a little roundup of exercises that fits under what we were talking about earlier. They're not too difficult, but generally they work a lot of different muscles in your body. They're going to increase your body temperature, get you a little bit out of breath, and give us those benefits we were talking about to our immunity earlier. So I have a basic combination of exercises that I use on something like this that works all of our major muscles. First one is a leg exercise. It's going to be the squat. The second one is an overhead press where we push the weights overhead. The third one is a bent over row, which is a pulling exercise that works our upper back and we stabilise with our lower back and our hips. And the final one is something that focuses quite on our core. It's the plank.
That's the problem area for so many people, the spare tire and that starts going, especially when you've been laying back for a while.
It is. I was just asked a little while ago by somebody who wanted to work that area in particular, so we're going to focus in on some of the specifics of the technique as we do it. Our first exercise is the squat. Now this one we're going to do is a goblet squat, which means we're going to pick up a dumbbell and use it for resistance. So if you'll mirror me, Beverly, we're going to hold it up like a goblet, like so, in front of our chin. And then with our feet turned out slightly and our feet about shoulder width apart, our chest up and head up, we're going to descend as we breathe in for a count of 1, 2, 3, and then come up as we breathe out for a count of 1. So down for 1, 2, 3, and up for a count of 1. We're going to do a few more reps, descending about as low as we can, keeping our posture as best we can. So like I said, we're working the legs here, our glutes, our lower back a little bit, a lot of major muscles. So we're burning some calories, and already I start to feel a little bit warm. Do you?
Oh yeah.
Good, so let's do 2 more. 1 and 2. Now the second exercise is something we were talking about earlier. It's our overhead press. We're going to stand with our feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to push the dumbbells up to slightly higher than our shoulders, up here.
Okay.
And with our palms facing forward, we're going to drive the weights up and overhead, slightly inward as we breathe out. So we're going to start coming down for a count of 1, 2, 3, and driving up for a count of 1. So about 3 times as slow on the way down, and then on the way up much quicker. So here we're using the shoulders, the back of the arms, the tricep, and we're also stabilizing with our core. Just to enhance that, I would say we should bend our knees just a little bit. So I call this earthquake stance. We stand as though the ground is about to shake, so we're stabilizing. So let's do 2 more, and that will be our push exercise. And then we're going to proceed into the bent over row. So initially with the dumbbells hanging, you bend your knees, bend at the hips and bend over, while keeping the back fairly straight. We even tilt our chest upward, so we have a nice straight line from shoulders to hips. So we look kind of proud when we're bent over. We're going to let the dumbbells hang just in front of our knees, so we're not pushing them forward. And as we breathe out, we pull the dumbbells up to our rib cage, open the chest, descend for a count of 2, 3, and ascend for a count of 1. Breathing out, breathing in on the way down, out on the way up. At the top, we try and pull the shoulder blades together behind us. Lower down for a count of 2 and 3. That's good. If Beverly's doing a good job, I'm just going to get her to keep her elbows a little bit closer to her body as she pulls. That's great. And we're really working those upper back muscles hard now, which is good. So let's do 2 more reps, and that will be our pull exercise. So far we've got legs, we've got a push, we've got a pull, and then after that we're going to place the dumbbells down on the floor and proceed into our core exercise that we were talking about just there. So it's the plank, which we talked about in a previous video. So the important thing on the plank is that we want to keep our back quite straight. So if you have the benefit of a mirror at a lateral angle just beside you, you want to make sure that your lower back does not have an exaggerated curve. It wants to be very flat. So it's important to set that up before you actually lift your knees off the floor. So we tuck our tailbone, we clench our glutes, which are the muscles of our bum, and then we raise our knees off the floor. The breathing can get a little bit shorter on this one. It's hard to breathe very deep while we're doing the plank. Let's see how Beverly's doing. So as you can see, we've got a nice straight line here. There's not much of a curve in the back. We want to get rid of that. We're going to hold it for about 10 more seconds. And we've got some really strong work going on here in the tummy muscles. We even pull them in just slightly to deepen the work, not necessarily intensifying it. Beverly's starting to shake there a little bit, which happens when it gets difficult. So we count 3, 2, 1, and that brings our little round of exercises to an end. What we're doing is 4 exercises back to back, as you saw. We could do each of them for about 30 seconds each, and then we could rest a minute afterwards. So if you repeat this 4 to 5 times, you have an exercise set that takes a few minutes that achieves all the benefits we talked about. Raises your temperature, gets you a little bit out of breath, and starts to improve your immune response, which is really what we're looking for here, because we're talking about getting back after a little bout of sickness. So, Beverly, how do you feel about that?
Brilliant, fantastic. Thanks so much for your help today, Andy. And you can see all the exercises here. Andrew is going to be starting his YouTube channel very soon. Right. So I'll put a link in the description when it's out, and also a link to Andy's Facebook page. Don't forget to like, and don't forget to like this video. Thanks guys, and if you'd like more fitness videos, let us know and we'll make it happen. See you next time.
See you next time.